This week on Forever Spinning, we take a look back at Radiohead's 7th studio album, In Rainbows, and with me today, we have our music producer on the show, Mr. Spencer Norris.
Hello.
Cue the intro. Radiohead's discography is as expansive as they come. 9 studio LPs, 1 live album, 6 EPs, 30 singles, and 39 music videos have been created by Radiohead over their 30-year reign in the music world, not even including the band's solo material. While some groups tend to follow the same sound over long extended periods of time, Tom, Phil, Johnny, Ed, and Colin have not done that. They've always evolved. And with the release of their 7th studio album, Radiohead continued to revolutionize music. The band's record label with EMI had expired, and there were no talks about renewing this deal. The band surprisingly started to record without their longtime producer Nigel Godrich, and this resulted in them having to stop completely due to a creative halt. So the band decided to take a break from recording, and in turn began to tour more, so they kind of gained some more inspiration.
They eventually returned to the studio, accompanied by Godrich, and recorded at an old country house in the UK. Godrich claims they slept in caravans due to the building's poor structure. Naturally, this LP was a surprise to everyone, as it just appeared online on October 10th, 2007. Hail to the Thief, this album's predecessor, was released over 4 years before In Rainbows, making this album's release even sweeter. However, to top off this strange release model, Radiohead allowed a pay-what-you-want business model, meaning people could purchase this album for absolutely no money at all. Members of the band claimed they wanted listeners around the world to be able to hear the album at the exact same time. The band received criticism for this decision, and it was even included in Forbes' 101 Dumbest Decisions in Business. Financial criticisms aside, this album was renowned worldwide and received much praise from fans and critics alike.
The first track that we want to talk to you about today is the breathtakingly delicate Nude. The origins of Nude date back to the OK Computer era of Radiohead, but back then the song was referred to as Big Ideas. The basic layout of the track did not change much over the years that it's spent in the vault of Radiohead's massive unreleased track selection. However, one thing did drastically change during the time from 1996 to 2007, and that would be the production. The song blossoms into an array of colorful and bouncing textures. It feels like looking into a paint spinner as it's slowly turning the colors around and around in a circle. And while the instrumentals and vocals are elegantly powerful, the lyrics themselves are a complete 180 from that. In short, Nude is about not getting what you want. Don't get any big ideas, the lyrics begin. They're not gonna happen. Later, Tom sings, now that you found it, it's gone. Now that you feel it, you don't. You've gone off the rails. This track is all about avoiding wishful thinking and searching for happiness in fleeting concepts, especially when it comes to lust and greed. And Tom believes that following in these unfulfilling goals time after time will lead you off the rails or simply down a bad path. And still to this day, Nude is probably one of my favorite Radiohead tracks.
The next track we are going to touch on is Weird Fish's Arpeggi. Originally titled just Arpeggi, this track was performed multiple times on the band's 2006 tour before its inclusion on In Rainbows. The track begins with an upbeat drum line, and is then joined by a calming yet bubbly guitar arpeggio. York's soothing falsetto vocals slowly enter as layers build upon layers. Tom finds himself at the bottom of the deepest ocean, with only a pair of enticing eyes to be seen. The eyes influence himself in many ways, including why he is here and why he should stay here. He sings, "Your eyes, they turn me onto phantoms. I follow to the edge of the earth and fall off." York is questioning why he is drawn to someone who causes him such great pain and causes him to perform such drastic actions. He finishes the song with singing in a much deeper tone and choppy vocals, making him sound like he is crying during an emotional breakdown. The song closes out with the lyrics, "Yeah, I'll hit the bottom and escape. Tom has made the decision to leave the person who has caused him so much pain, and by doing this, he is free. Coming in at the 5th track of the record, All I Need is a very mellow tune in which York expresses his undying affection for a lover. In the song, York lists various comparisons that describe how his lover feels towards him. He sings, "I'm the next act, waiting in the wings. I'm an animal, trapped in your hot car. I am all the days that you choose to ignore." Clearly, York's flame does not feel too affectionate towards him. However, when it is York's turn to express how he feels, all he has to say is, "You are all I need, you are all I need." He's clearly infatuated with the person, and you can't help but feel sorrow for him that his affection is not reciprocated towards him. For the outro of the song, the volume increases quite a bit, as York shouts, "It's all wrong, it's all wrong, it's all right," and he repeats on and on until the song slowly fades out. York realizes that his suitor does not match his affection towards him, and it clearly causes him great confusion and sadness.
The final track that we want to talk to you about today is the album's last track, Videotape. Videotape is a somber track for sure, giving the illusion that you're walking through a funeral on a miserable and dreary day. And, well, it sounds like that for a reason, mostly because this track deals with Tom talking about dying and, in death, giving a videotape to his loved ones to kind of show about his life. It's dark, I know. But this song is so much more than just simply dealing with death. It is chock full of references, giving this song so much more of a deeper meaning. Most notably in the lyrics, when Mephistopheles is just beneath, and he's reaching up to grab me. This is one of the album's many biblical references, as Mephistopheles is a demon coming from German folklore. The protagonist of this tale is Faust, and basically he is looking for happiness his entire life. After years of searching, he succumbs to Mephistopheles' deal, which would mean that Faust would give up his soul to Satan in order to find happiness. And to his dismay, only when he was dying did he find true happiness, realizing the beauty and preciousness of life itself. It's an incredible dismal track lyrically to begin with, and the loop pianos and drum kicks only add to the overwhelming feelings of existentialism. Despite it being very different from the other songs on this album, Videotape is still the perfect way to bookend the perfect album. So Spencer and I both decided to do this episode together simply because we both love In Rainbows so much. Yeah. So Spencer, what would you kind of say is your final thoughts on this album?
Well, in my opinion, it's my favorite Radiohead album personally. I just think there's so many memorable tracks, and I just love the whole sound of it. It's so jazzy, upbeat and fun. I'm all about that. And it's so fresh and new, but it's classic Radiohead, and there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, know? I can definitely agree with that. I mean, it's not personally my favorite Radiohead album. OK Computer will always have that special place in my heart, but In Rainbows is still not a bad album at all. It's incredible. I mean, like you said, actually every single track is magnificent. So many memorable ones. Some of the best tracks that Radiohead has ever put out are on this album. I mean, we already talked about Nude, I would say, Videotape, Body Snatchers is another one, Reckoner. Yeah. I mean, this whole LP, through and through, is just absolutely magnificent, so glad we got a chance to do this album together today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. We'll hopefully do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right, well, let's send it out then.
Whether you've never heard this album before, or if it's your favorite record, Radiohead's In Rainbows will always be forever spinning.
Happy listening.